the fact that you picked Lapu into the Phoveus matchup means that you don't really care about that laning phase for the side of Kid Bomba, right? We saw him play the Badang into the CC. He did a good job. He was down a couple of levels, but his impact was always felt during the team fights. So now, being someone who is not as resource heavy kind of alleviates a lot of the pressure from the side lanes. We now have to worry about this 1-1. With Hayabusa locked in so early for the side of Onyx PH, they're probably going to repeat their strategy for game number 3. Consistent pressure on Hiko.
And if they want to pressure Hiko, ooh, they ban out the Arlott. Okay, still don't want to give that combo, even though the Arlott at the previous 2 games for Sao hasn't been the cleanest. Team Spirit, I think, ban out the Pharsa, but they don't lead. They ban out the Claude.
Take out gold laners, limit down.
Why didn't they ban Pharsa? Why didn't they ban Pharsa here? Why are they worried about this Claude?
Especially when there's still a Granger open, still plenty of options for Kelra here.
Yeah, and Kelra can honestly also even just go like carrier Matrix.
He can do whatever he wants, it's Kelra.
Yeah.
I guess they want to limit it just enough. They want to see that Granger one more time for the side of Onyx, and then look to pick up maybe Pharsa for themselves, maybe something that scales in that mid lane, and they're trying to initiate this trade. The question is whether Coach Why Not is going to allow it. Because worst comes to worst, right? We get the Beatrix on the side of Onyx PH, and they can pick Pharsa now.
They do not go for the Pharsa, they go for the Granger instead. So I think on Team Spirit you pick up the Pharsa, but again, I think a lot of teams overestimate the counters of Pharsa, like the Lapu. Maybe that's why Onyx PH doesn't pick it up. The Hayabusa, things like that. But either way, Sunset Lover did a great job on her last game. They decide not to just yet. They're still taking their time with that mage pick.
Should just be a quick Pharsa pick, right?
Because if they pick Pharsa, Hayabusa can definitely punish them.
Yeah.
And I think that it's better not to give it over to Onyx PH more than picking it up for yourself. Because, again, your composition still lacks the innate burst other than the Lapu Lapu. And let's not forget that they don't scale as well.
I mean, the most obvious pick now is gone. Do they lean towards his more niche picks like the Kagura, the Valir?
Yi again?
Lo Yi actually still would be a great choice. Yep. Oh, is that a Novaria?
Yep.
There she is.
Novaria makes a lot more sense, right? Because then it kind of alleviates the pressure from Brusco to try and open up the map. You are playing Kalia. There are some pretty long cooldown timers, especially for the tidal waves.
I think this is a hero that we all look at as utility just because of the ultimate. But honestly, mid to late game, those meteors hit hard, and it can outrange the Pharsa. It can poke down. It never has to get involved in the fight and have to worry about getting, getting stunned up by the Fredrin or anything like that. It's always safely in the back. This is why I mentioned this last series, I think. But I think this could be a solid pick.
After an epic game number 3, game 4 could be the final one here, or will Team Spirit push the series to 5? Brigida and Naisu, how are you two doing?
Hey, we've gotten our feet back on the ground here, I'd say, for this one after the amazing Game 3. But I'll tell you guys what, if you know any lore here, Brigida is on desk. I'm expecting a Game 5. I'm expecting Team Spirit to take Game 4 because that's the Brigida Bless. That's the Brigida Bless here.
Well, I think we should also be mentioning that the Mother of All series is in the stadium and the arena.
So you're both here.
Maybe that could be another way to look at it, but yeah, it has been a very close game number 3. And it seems like Team Spirit this time around could be the one setting up that same tempo. They got the Cho for themselves, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how this is going to play out, because this is the typical Cho Pharsa combination. You could expect a very aggressive early game, and that's exactly what they're doing right now, pressuring Super Friends constantly. Brusco even had to recall in as early as less than a minute into this game.
Yeah, this is interesting because as you guys saw it from the draft, this Novaria has not been picked much. It's been picked once, other than now from Super Friends. And it's one of those heroes that, was pretty strong before. Kind of fell off a little bit, but it just seems to be the case for Super Friends. He's one of those players that likes to bring some of these more non-meta heroes to the table. Now, will it play its part? Will it be able to provide Onyx Philippines with what they need? Maybe. Again, it gives you a lot of vision, extends some of the hitboxes that you can have, and they can play around that. Now, that is actually a pretty beneficial thing, especially when you have a Granger on your side here. So, again, I would like to see Team Spirit take this game, even if it was down to the lanes here, as I was just going to say with Hiko and Kelra, if Hiko can get a advantage in the early game just by himself, and that's what all gold laners have to go through. They have to go and have this, point of the game where it's like it's 1v1.
Yeah.
They have to do that. And if he can get a, an advantage against Kelra, that would be great for Hiko and overall for Team Spirit as the game goes through those early to mid-game phases here. So they start up this first turtle. They are in position for Team Spirit. They're going to fight for it, though.
They got to poke one shot down, but the first one to go in is actually going to be Kid Bomba. Does a great job in zoning out the other members. Energy Eruption also committed onto Kirk, but he still has the Infernal Pursuits, and that just allows him to reposition and get away. So it has been a better start so far for Team Spirit. And you can see it in their fans. They're really rejoicing right now, but again, it is still somewhat the early game.
Yeah, Hiko holding his own. He's doing all right. He is taking a couple shots, though, of course, from Kelra, but objective over to Team Spirit. Great for them to go ahead and set up to. And now, at this point, when you have these level 4s available, you really have to go ahead and look at how the compositions are going to be utilizing the ultimates that they have. And just like we saw in the previous game, a big part of that is for Sao. He has to go ahead, get these kicks off that he's looking for on the Cho, and that is always a difficult task. But aside from that, you also are going to be relying on Kid Bomba on this Lapu Lapu to be able to go and, have these fights, these skirmishes in your favor, because he's able to put pressure where it needs to be. That's what Lapu Lapu is so good at, not only being able to just kind of tank up quite a bit of damage himself, but even dish out respectable damage. And so that's one of the big things.
That's how they got the better of Onyx PH in that first team fight too, but then the Tsunami Slam is going to be committed onto Sao. Look at the damage! In as early as 3 minutes in the game, but the Crossbow of Tang is going to be committed by Hiko as well. Brusco will just have enough time to get away though, but now Kirk is forced to flicker out. After one shot, even uses the Retribution. Clearly tried to go for a trade there, but were somehow lacking in the damage to get that. They still go on though, use the Feathered Airstrike as well for Sunset Lover.
Yeah, this is one of the things, it's a King Kong, because he's on the Hayabusa against one-shots Fredrin, he has to, in some cases and some points of the game, rely on the team to help him secure parts of the jungle. You can see right now, he's actually getting pressured out from his orange buff. And so King Kong, whoa, not just pressured out, he died.
Wait, that was just Sunset Lover in one shot.
Yeah, but I guess he got Feathered Airstriked, because Sunset Lover doesn't have it, so as I was saying, he has to rely on the team a lot of times to secure this, because that's not where you want to be. But so he gets down, and now the turtle.
That's pretty interesting. If we could, find a way to revisit how that happened, because Brusco was also nearby, but it felt like he didn't have enough time to catch up and provide the necessary assistance for their jungler, and that's going to be 2 turtles that'll go into the hands of Team Spirit. And they barely struggled to get it for 2 times in a row.
Yeah, seems like it was a little too easy for them. And again, when you are able to put pressure on an assassin-type jungler, you can usually continue to play into that advantage that you have. One shot also just picks up the empty Kara, so he's got a little bit of that extra defense now to deal with King Kong and even Kelra in a sense. So in a good position to continue to just kind of not let up on the gas, continue to put pressure there. You can see this pressure from Kid Bomba. I'm not sure if Kirk and the rest of the squad wants to make the play.
He sensed that there were other members coming in for him, and now he uses the flicker to get away. Star Shutter lands, but Kid Bomba is still alive, and he got to clear the way too. So Onyx PH, they probably will get to make something out of it, but it's just going to be mirrored here by Team Spirit. Hiko works on the bottom lane as well.
See this Sao just waiting patiently there. If there was one auto attack, then that would have been Kid Bomba going down, but it's great that he survived. Team Spirit gets that push in. Hiko's having a much better time this game 4. He's got the tier 1 down. He's going to get some pressure here, of course, but the rest of the team's just around the corner here. So far, if you think about the majority of the series, this is the best position that Hiko's been early game.
Yep. Even more than that one time in the previous game, or in the game before that, I'm not sure anymore, where he got the early rotation coming in from Team Spirit. This definitely looks like the much better game, especially as it was mostly just on Hiko alone. There wasn't much reactions from Team Spirit, because again, even in other parts of the map, they were the ones clearly winning it out. And look at Kid Bomba also being able to take down that tier 1 up top as well. This has been the most, I don't know,
early game?
The most easiest situation for Team Spirit in the early game. It feels like everything is just hand it over to them for free.
It's like this, Brigida. You know, they know everybody experienced the last game. They're like, all right, we'll tone it down a little bit for the early game. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case when we get to that mid to late game transition either, because this is a lineup for Onyx Philippines that really needs time to go ahead and come online. Part of that, like I said, is the Hayabusa. You can't do too much if you're King Kong against this kind of lineup, unless maybe Brusco gets the Tsunami Slams like we've been seeing. That's usually been the case. But you're almost forced in this situation where you just have to farm up. Here it is.
And there goes the Tsunami Slam into the Tidal Strike. They finally get to find a pickoff, and that's going to be onto Sao. So maybe that's the biggest difference, because I feel like for a huge majority of the past few minutes, Team Spirit were aware of the resources that Onyx PH decided to pour into that potential pickoff against Kid Bomba in the top lane. But ever since they failed that, Team Spirit were just being very decisive and trying to look for other things to do across the map. Wow. And now they've been very efficient. As you can see, 7 minutes into this game, they've already cleared out so many turrets away from Onyx PH.
Wow, Team Spirit gets a tier 2 under the 8-minute mark already. It just seems like there's not really much that Onyx Philippines can do, except for play around the Tsunami Slam. Like, that's their only option right now. The fight for the purple buff, though, might force them.
Brusco's isolated because Kid Bomba, he just zoned Super Prince away, and now he will be the first to fall. Star Shredder doesn't latch onto anyone. And all tier 1 turrets are already taken down, even the mid lane. So this makes things so much more easier for Team Spirit and so much harder for King Kong.
It's kind of crazy because in essence, Team Spirit isn't doing anything fancy.
Yeah.
Like, they're literally just playing around. If they catch Brusco or Brusco Tsunami Slams, they follow on through. They have enough damage already too. Like, Sunset Lever picked up the Divine Glaive earlier on. So a lot of the times, it's not even Sao that has to start with a kick. Now, if he decides to, then they're in a great position to win these fights. And that's why we're really just seeing Onyx Philippines watch the turrets go down. There isn't a whole lot of space to work with. There's not even enough really firepower just yet. It's in one of those situations where we got to wait for Kelwer to farm up. We might even have to give up this first Lord. That looks to be the case, as Team Spirit is just going to go ahead and start this up and take this. You know, King Kong's like, I want my orange buff. Like, I need this.
This could be the only time I'm gonna get it without any other member from Team Spirit disrupting me. And so he finally gets his hands on the orange buff, but as you've mentioned, just looking at the lineups here for both Team Spirit and Onyx PH, it does feel like Team Spirit, just by having Kid Bomba use the Bravest Fighter, just by having Sao stand there with the threat of the Way of the Dragon, it does feel like Onyx PH are getting a taste of their own medicine, because this seems too familiar to how they were able to actually present themselves in the previous game through Brusco and the Cho. But now it's Sao applying all that pressure, and yes, this is a 0-2-0 standing and a KDA for him, but you know that all those instances where Onyx PH were able to get the kill onto Sao were greatly, I'd say Team Spirit were able to make the most out of it. Like, they didn't allow Sao to go down without trading anything massive, and now 10 minutes, it's been so fast, and now they gain access to the base turrets and take down the Holy Shields.
Lord is still up here, so Onyx will clear it out, but I don't know, Sao might want to force something, I guess. Conceal is going to be used. They still have the Holy Defense, though. That's going to go ahead and pop now on the top side. The most, clean game so far that we've seen. Just 2-2 across the board. It's, again, Team Spirit doesn't have to do anything, but they are going to jump into this one.
Kid Bomba times the Bravest Fighter alongside the minion wave, and they actually find 2 kills even before anything happens. Clutch crossbow of Tang as well, coming in from Hiko, keeping him alive, and Kid Bomba, he's still standing in front of Onyx PH. He doesn't care.
Kid Bomba is just flexing right now on the Lapu Lapu, staying in the base. He'll be fine. They gotta wait for those waves to push in, but man, they took out 3 from Onyx Philippines, and they have to scramble for the defense.
How is he still able to regroup with Team Spirit? He was sitting right behind that tier 3 turret, and he got the reset on his Bravest Fighter too. So that was a very long time that was bought here by
Look at how much damage he's done.
35,000.
Talk about a performance from Lapu Lapu. This is why we've been talking about XP laners for so long throughout MSC, because of the impact that they can have. And I know all the XP laners out there can rejoice because XP lane for a while was pretty, it was pretty stale.
Yeah.
But now you get to be in a good position where it's like you can literally carry games as an XP laner. Now, again, Team Spirit, they haven't done anything fancy. And even in the sense, because Hiko has had a much better game in terms of just winning the lane and putting himself in that position, he even survived Kirk earlier on. So, this is one of those cases where it's like, Onyx Philippines is really far behind. They're in this position where they've even lost a base turret already. They're not going to be in a place to actually get the next Lord for a while. So it's all just a waiting game. Are they able to do it? Because every single time we've seen Brusco try to set something up, who's he going to Tsunami Slam? Most of the time, even if he Tsunami Slams Sunset Lover still has a Purify. You still have to get through that. So, it's really just kind of trying to make something happen for Onyx Philippines. And the only place that's going to happen right now is in their base.
Yeah.
That's the best place for them to possibly turn this almost 9,000 gold deficit around.
And I mean, Trex and the panel did mention it earlier too, that if you look at Onyx PH's lineup, especially the Novaria, they will have a bit more damage to rely on come the mid to late portions of the game. But the thing is, could they defend this part of the game? Oh, there seems to be decent damage already, though. Hiko will already have HP, but now it's another Mavis fighter. He gets to receive the Tsunami Slam as well. It seems like Kid Bomba right now might just get punished. He is the first of all in this team fight, and the Inferno Pursuits coming in from Kirk are just too much. They find another kill onto Sawo as well, and that definitely keeps Onyx PH in this game.
Wow, that was a great defense, and it was actually a shot from Super Friends that even checked Hiko. Hiko couldn't go forward because of the fact that he was like, all right, that actually that got me pretty low. I shouldn't push this any further.
Yeah, and that jump from Kid Bomba was something Onyx PH seemed to have calculated already, because yes, the Lapu Lapu, once he does use the Bravest Fighter and his enhanced skills when he is actually in the different form, you get to immune crowd control. Yeah, but there is a brief moment that you can't. And that's what Onyx PH were able to capitalize on, clearly taking down the frontliners first, and that's where things started to fall for Team Spirit. But more importantly was, yes, the amount of poke that came in from Super Friends towards Hiko before that fight.
Yeah, and you can see that, like, in terms of gold lane, Kelro's where he needs to be. He's farmed up, he has the items that he needs. King Kong should be able to get away. He's going to get stunned, though, but the quad shadow, he goes back.
He goes back in, and now Sunset Lover gains easier access to him. There's another Tsunami Slam committed onto Sawo, but now Hiko, he needs to reposition himself. There's just too much damage coming in from Onyx PH, but will he find the stack, though? Not for now. But that's still another kill that goes into the hands of Team Spirit.
Well, Super Friends, he's going to keep them at bay for now. Wave is still pushing in bottom, but as long as Kelra is alive, they should be fine to clear these out. Unless Team Spirit decides to force a fight, they might want to get this mid turret down. Sawo's going to go ahead and jump on in. Can they defend?
Oh, they want to make things happen now. They set up, they go for Brusco. There's the Winter Crown. It's going to buy him some time, but it won't save him from the energy eruption and from the kill. That will be handed over to Hiko, but the Appraiser's Wrath, though, it's just too much to handle as well. But nonetheless, Onyx PH, still another successful defense.
That's what they have to do. More time bought for them, the better. Earlier on, we saw the difference. Gold lane is fine. They are in fighting form, but the big thing is, again, their front guys, Kirk, even King Kong, Brusco, for example, need plenty of time to build some of that defense. So Shadow Kill?
Oh no, it's Sunset Lover who gets picked off for Team Spirit. Oof. And even though Kid Bomba and Sawo might just make it to the fight, they don't have Sunset Lover, and that's such an important piece in the equation.
That's a lot of damage gone. This is still a risk for Onyx Philippines to go ahead and start this up and take it. Their base is fully exposed, but they know they have at least one advantage, and that's Sunset Lever being gone. Wow. But look at the pressure from TS, still keep them at bay. They might force the fight.
Oh, they find the stacks. The crossbow of town might just be committed anytime now. And there he goes. But the Winter Crown is going to keep Kirk safe, but Brusco might not be able to escape this. There's the Bravest Fighter as well from Kid Bomba, but gets struck down. The Appraiser's Wrath won't be even used at all. Eagle's the only one left, and Kelra finds the shutdown and the triple.
How did they do it? Again, But now Sunset Lover trying to just clear the wave out. He's forced down, and Kelra will pick up the kill. And they'll work on the tier 2, even with a base fully exposed. They'll win a huge fight, dissipating any gold lead that Team Spirit had.
It was just so unfortunate there. Hiko found the stacks as well. Also got to land the heavy crossbow. Kid Bomba also got to use the Bravest Fighter. All the resources were used just in time, but they weren't enough anymore because no one had their eyes on the damage that came in from Kelra. No one was able to deal with this guy yet again, and he's the least guy that you want to be left after a team fight, after all resources have already been burned. How many times has Kelra turned things around for his team already?
I don't know. I mean, I know we talked about the gold lane here leading into this game, but you know, it doesn't seem like there's any hesitation at all for Kelra. He is sitting at 7-0-4. He's very aggressive, but very calculated this time. And this gives them a little bit of an advantage to push towards the base. They still have a lot of grounds to cover, but can TS defend against this push it?
Oh, Dark Wave, one shot, already half HP. Hiko as well. It's not just the Star Shatter, it's also those Death Sonatas coming in from Kelra that really deals a huge amount of damage towards the gold laner of Team Spirit. So he definitely has to constantly reset every now and then because of all these skill shots that are coming in from Onic. And that's going to be a problem. Like, there has to be someone blocking all these damage, or Hiko has to do his part in dodging it. But these are also members you want to hide because they need to come in from unexpected angles so they could take Onic by surprise. But now Hiko gets surprised.